still making me go after Walter Payton Man of the Year. So tough act to follow.
Jonathan, can you just talk about what that award means to you and watching what Kenny has done and achieving this nomination for the third time now?
No, it means a ton. You talk about like MVP and Offensive Player of the Year or Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, that's the one. I mean, Walter Payton Man of the Year. That's the one you want. You want that patch on your jersey. So to see him in that light year after year, I'm hoping they stop messing around and just let Kenny lock this in because he deserves it so much. It's evident from not only the passion that he plays with on the field, but the passion that he shows people off of the field in Indianapolis, in his community back home. So it's just inspiring.
To commit for Kenny to commit to teaching every Tuesday, which is really, your guys' only day off, how big of a sacrifice is that?
It's huge because Tuesdays are the off day from practice and meetings, but still pretty full because you're trying to recover, trying to get your body right. So you still kind of have a full day. So for him to be able to even sacrifice that time and fit everything in he needs for himself personally to be at his best here, but then also still give, like I said, it's inspiring, man. Kenny is just inspiring.
One more on Kenny. You've been a teammate for the last 6 years. So how have you maybe drawn some motivation, inspiration from his journey? Because it wasn't easy, not that it's easy for any of you all, but his is a little bit more unique, I would say.
For me, I would say Kenny has definitely taught me how to be a great teammate as well, of how to truly connect individually with each of your teammates. I'm always someone to come in the building. I speak to all my teammates, get to know them, but Kenny, over the years, we've had multiple conversations where it's just us two, and he's literally sitting down and asking me about my family, asking me about the holidays, how are the holidays different now versus when I grew up. So he taught me how to truly connect with the teammates so that I know, hey, no, I know his family. Even though I may not have met that person's family yet, I know all about him. So when I meet him, it'll feel like, hey, I've known you for a lifetime. So I will say that's something that Kenny has taught me over the past 6 years.
JT, looking ahead to the Jacksonville game, do you obviously care about the streak because you want to win the game, but do you think about the streak at all?
No, because like I said, they mentioned it before when I got here, and I was just like, you guys, you just got to lock in. And then obviously we've not had the success that we wanted down here since I've been here as well. So now it's just ultimately about, hey, what do we have to do this week to just go ahead and win the game? That's the number one goal. I think a lot of times when you got to focus on the past, you got to focus on the history. It's like watching film to learn and grow. But at the end of the day, you just have to figure out, hey, this is a new year. What do we need to do to be successful this year with what we have and the trajectory that we're on? So for me, it's what do I need to do to be at my best? And I know everyone else in the locker room is doing the same thing because that's all that matters. If you kind of reminisce, you'll kind of start bringing and kind of projecting some of those things going forward. So we don't really want to do any of that. We just want to know this is the only week that matters, and we have to be at our best.
What do you see out of their run defense? They put up some really good numbers against the run so far.
Like you mentioned, really good numbers, really stout, disciplined. They've been playing very disciplined. That's always something with the run defense when you play disciplined. Because a lot of times, big runs and things like that happen when someone's eyes are in the wrong place and they misstep, and there's just a little bit out of position. So they've been very disciplined, tough group. You're gonna have to be in your alignment and assignment, but it's gonna come down to being physical at the point of attack, and then also it's gonna be a 60-minute match with those guys for sure at home.
Jonathan, this is the first time this year the Colts have lost 2 games in a row. Shane was saying the process hasn't really changed. How important is that to kind of just stick to what was working earlier in the season from a process standpoint to get the results on Sunday?
Yeah, I think that's huge, like you mentioned, because at the end of the day, the process is something that allows you to change variables. Like you have the same process now, you may be able to change variables. Like, okay, hey, maybe I'll watch a little extra film on Thursday, or maybe I'll get some extra reps in on Wednesday. But the process on Wednesday is, hey, I have time to get extra reps, or Thursday is, hey, I have time to do more film. So I think being able to have that same process allows you to control other variables to allow us to continue to try and get better and moving forward each day. So you don't want, just because the results didn't quite transpire how you want it to, doesn't mean that your whole process is in shambles and you need to scrap the whole thing.
That's sort of like, okay, you've lost, was it 3 out of 4? You can't worry about, if we win 3 more games, that's why you're locked into one game. You can't let yourself look ahead.
you can't look ahead, because then you might just miss the smallest of detail, and it could be on just one play. You may think, well, if we go and win these next two, then that'll put us in this situation. And in that time span, while you're thinking about that, you might have just missed a key detail for this game coming up, and then it shows up on one snap, probably one of the most important snaps of the game, and because you were looking ahead, you missed it. So the most important game and the biggest game is this one coming up, because it's our only game coming up.
Kind of a random
Last one.
one, but how do you manage stress? I don't know if we talk about this a lot with athletes, so I was like, okay, physical recovery. What does your mental recovery look like when you are in a high stakes job and obviously you're on display on national TV every week?
Well, number one for me, especially just me being a man of faith, you definitely have to pray. At some point, there are a lot of external things that you can turn towards, but just having that higher power and understanding that things are already written and He's with you. You know, the Lord is with you every step of the way, and then you try and use things of this world to try and help you. So you may meditate, you may do breath work, but I think ultimately for me, just praying, it just allows you to release everything else, all of the other stresses, all of the other expectations, and say, you know what, I know what I need to do. We spoke about the process earlier. I know what my process is, and I know this is a great process. We've had success with this process. So you have to stick to the process. I know you guys heard that before all the time, just stick to the process, but truly that is what helps you manage the stress, because if not, now you're trying to scrap the whole thing. You're trying to piece together a new process in the middle of the season. You're not doing yourself any good. So being able to make that in the off season, going into training camp and understanding, hey, this is what my process is gonna be. There need to be minor tweaks, that's what I will do. But through the process and prayer, everything will take care of itself.